should definitely win the lane against the Dragonite, but it'll ensure that the Dragonite at the very least can contest some of those last hits and do a little bit of harassment and get his level 6 up as quickly as possible.
Mostly the bounty hunter coming out from YOLO live once. Should see a very fast rotation come from this bounty hunter. Once he hits that level 6, he'll want to get away from that Visage, Bane, and Gyrocopter as soon as possible. Rotate in the middle, maybe set some things up for the OD to pick off that Dragonite early on. And then once that track starts racking up, you'll get a lot of gold and you can snowball in terms of gold lead anyway. Or if you do fall behind, you can stay within the game. But let's introduce the teams. Over on the side of Clockblockers, we have their captain, DJ Bass, will be on that Dragonite. Supports will be on Visage, QTC, and the Bane being played by Zero. The Darkseid will be being played by Mr. Snicklefitz. And finally, you'll have Super Saiyan Goten on that Gyrocopter.
And for the side of You Only Live Once, we do have their captain Denden playing the Outlaw Devourer over in the mid lane. Ruski will be playing the offlane Bounty Hunter. The supports will be Mugen on the Rubik and Sick Nasty Feed Skills on the Abaddon. And their carry, last but not least, will be Bacon on the Alchemist.
So, Clockblockers will have to be quite careful earlier in this game. I mean, if you leave that Alchemist just to free farm that top lane for the first 15 minutes, he's gonna have very fast high tier items straight off the bat. If he can get his Shadow Blade out and running early, maybe go into Majonia or the AC, depending on how he wants to rat that Alchemist, he can be hitting very hard, very fast, and create a snowball. I mean, that doesn't say Goten will be out of it by any means on that Gyrocopter. There's always the opportunity to come back with a Divine Rapier. And also, his Flat Cannon will be able to just pick off in the team fights, just be able to pick off and just demolish the entire side of YOLO. I mean, Bounty Hunter, if he shows his face for a few seconds, Flat Cannon will just demolish him as he's got a very low health pool. Mugen, he's got 0 armor on the Rubik, so he's one of the squishiest supports at the start of the game, purely because he just can't mitigate any of that damage coming out on top of him. Then there's Abaddon, so Abaddon should be able to keep them easily alive. But when it comes down to the team fights, which team do you think will be able to take it? I mean, Clockblockers, they have some very nice teamfight potential with the Darkseid Gyrocopter combination, and they have a few single target DPS for that Bane and the Dragonite, who does have that Dragon Breath and doesn't get to pick up his AoE until a little bit later on in the game, I think level 12. Then YOLO on the side, they have that Sanity Eclipse, they have that Acid Spray, and the Fade Bolt come through. Who do you think, if they went into a team fight, say at about 15 minute mark, 15-20, who do you think would come out on top?
I think at that stage, I'd have to probably give it to Clockblockers just a little bit. The thing is, OD in this sort of situation, against Clockblockers, he doesn't have his Insanity Eclipse don't do the most insane amount of damage. They're relatively decent in terms of intelligence. Dragonite, he's a very tanky hero as well. Gyrocopter's probably the one who will suffer the most from it. Whereas on the side of Clockblockers, they've got that Fiend's Grip, which could keep the Alchemist in line, or even the OD, so that way they get the good initiation advantage. You've got your Visage, who will, by 15 minutes, hopefully he'll have his familiars and he can set up some stuns and whatnot. You've got the Gyrocopter ulti, you've got that wall. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff, which I think will give Clockblockers a good advantage if they obviously initiate and engage properly. Just one thing I'd like to mention though is that currently this Bane, sorry, no, it wasn't the Bane, it was the Visage. He's currently carrying sentries, which means that they have the good potential to maybe get a kill on this Bounty Hunter early on. Or they might just have to use those for counter wards.
And we do see that Bounty Hunter, he is put it on the magic bush. Oh, actually, I think it's beside the magic bush. So he won't be getting both camps there, he'll just be able to block one camp with that ward there. There's a magic bush there, if you throw on the magic bush, you do block those 2 camps. Not going to be happening in this case, he's just going to sneak on out of there. Almost being found by the Visage, almost getting throw out a few of those auto attacks. They should know this creep camp is pulled from where that Bounty Hunter was standing, and they should see he has thrown down that final Observer ward in that lane, where Clockblockers do have a very aggressive ward, watching any movement coming out from that Bounty Hunter.
Definitely, and the other thing to note here is that currently the Darkseid is just in the jungle, he's not gone to the top lane to contest any of this, which I don't think he would have been able to really contest any of the farm here from the Alchemist anyway, and because of this sort of Rubik Lift Alchemist stun sort of combination, he would have been a little bit of a danger to get picked off if he mistimed his surge. So it's not a terrible decision, but at the very least for now, it just means Alchemist is going to have that free farm.
Mm, and Clockboxers will have to be quite careful about that, just to keep an eye on them. If they can find the first blood or a few kills down here on that bottom lane, that would be quite useful for them, being able to pick up a kill on that bounty hunter, delay his level 6 and track as much as possible, and then he'll slowly be a little bit less, it'll come into effect a little bit later in the game, and as long as you can delay that as much as possible, then that track threat is not too scary until later on in the game, where you have the ability to deal with him, the lockdown and damage to shut him down before he can get too many tracks off in the middle of a team fight.
Yeah, I mean, the tracks are quite amazing. There's no invis on the side here of clock blockers, although you might see a gyro pick up the Shadow Blade. But yeah, those track kills will certainly help a lot for the entire team. And when you already have an Alchemist on the field, who should be getting an insane amount of gold per minute, a track in those team fights certainly helps both him, but also the rest of your team a lot more as well.
Mm. And so we see some nice pulling coming on the side of YOLO. I mean, they didn't get that full creep wave, then didn't get tonight, but that gives Alchemist a little bit of time away from his tower so the creeps don't push into the tower and he doesn't have to miss any last hits on the tower. So his farm's going to keep going up. He's going for that fast Midas. He should have that very soon. He's up to 900 gold, or just under 900 gold. So he should have his Midas about the 5-minute mark, which is the standard for an Alchemist. It's a very nice timing for the Alchemist once he has that. And when he does have that, his attack speed goes through, well, not through the roof, but it does give him enough attack speed so he never misses a creep kill again due to the attack timing. And not to mention, the 3 times XP on Midas is just scary. If you can get to level 6 on that Alchemist, you will not die. It gives such a great health buff, movement buff, and just the regen, passive regen to be able to stay in the lane is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to pick off this Alchemist. You know, once he has that Midas, he'll be very happy and he'll just be able to farm, get those levels much quicker, of course, because the Midas does give the extra EXP boost as well. It's like I said, if they don't shut this Alchemist in the early game, it's nice to shut the Alchemist down. The only problem if they try to do this, you know, in a try versus try situation, I'm not sure if Clock Blockers would have been able to pull it off just because of that Abaddon and whatnot. Is able to keep both the shield and the heal, just keep his allies up quite high. So even if you do have a Visage, you can Soul Assumption and whatnot deal a lot of damage. I'm not sure if it would have been enough. So it does mean though that he's free farm this Darkseer, although he's going to get his farm as well, and it should mean an early mecha more likely than anything. He's actually picked up a bottle at the moment, and currently this Dragon Knight hasn't gone for the Soul Ring as of yet, which is I'm not 100% sure on that decision. He does have the boots of speed quite early on, but I would have liked to see a Soul Ring coming out from him.
And one thing I'm not too, I'm a little bit curious about is Clockboxers. They haven't been putting too much harassment onto this bounty hunter. He's already level 4 in this offlane. I mean, they have been doing some nice stacks in this jungle. I mean, they've just cleared a double stack now from the ogres, and they do have a second double stack through that pool camp if they do wish to throw it through there. But this bounty hunter, he's just hoping for that level 6. Once he gets that level 6, he'll rotate mid, and then they'll possibly find the first blood onto that Dragon Knight. And if they can find the first blood for that OD, that's when OD's scary. If he can get farm and a first blood, he's not going to be dying for quite a long time. He'll start to snowball later on in the game. OD is one of those heroes, if you can get the farm and start getting those bigger items at the start of the game, you got to slowly snowball because, as most of you should know, OD does scale exponentially with more int he does control. And he's going to be a very scary hero that they have to watch out for. So, YOLO, they actually have 2 heroes that Clockblockers need to do something about. If they don't do something about either of these 2 heroes, they're going to get out of hand and fast. And actually, in mid lane, they're going for it. Nightmare has been thrown out. DJ Bassie's waiting for that stun. He's going to throw out that stun very shortly. Stun comes out. They're going to start throwing out the damage. Soul Assumption, stack it up. Soul Assumption, he puts himself in the astral. There's no TP support coming in from YOLO. They should be able to find it here. Soul Assumption, and that's the first blood. Going to QTC on that Visage.
That is actually a very big deal. Well played there by Cockblockers to move into the mid lane with the supports and just get the kill. as you were saying before, that they're not really putting a lot of pressure on this bounty hunter. I do agree, and I feel like they probably could have, especially since they did have those sentries very on early into the game. But they just decided to use that for counter warding, which is a fine decision in its own right, just because it assures your supports to get some experience as well, and maybe some gold if they get some of those last hits. Um, the interesting thing here is that Gyrocopter's actually picked up a very early Midas. How do you feel about this? Do you think he should have gone for this, or do you think he should have gone for some more of those standard items, things like, the Ring of Aquila and things like that
Um,
earlier on?
I kind of like this minus pickup by the Gyrocopter. In this game, they feel it's going to be late. It's going to be a late game. I mean, there's an Alchemist and OD. These two heroes are heroes that will take mid to late game. Alchemist does backs out, but he doesn't want to leave the lane for a while. So to keep up in farm and XP gain with that Alchemist, you do the same thing as he would. You grab a Midas. It's not going to be as effective as you were as if you're the Alchemist, obviously. But Alchemist hasn't actually gone for the Midas. He's sitting on 2.5k, walking around. We might be seeing a very fast what's that word? That Radiance burn. Radiance, isn't it? Yeah, it is Radiance. Oh my god.
It's Radiance.
So he will be. Looks like he will be going for a very fast range. If he can have a fast range, this is a very strong item to have on early in the game. And since you're tanky, you can just burn down the heroes such as that Bane, the Gyrocopter, Visage. Those heroes will burn in the long sustained team fights, and YOLO, they have the ability for those long sustained team fights. You have the Abaddon, he'll be trying to stay around as long as possible. He can throw those shields out. Bounty Hunter will just be a nuisance walking around. Alchemist, he won't die, and he's not to mention his auto attacks will be extremely strong with that Radiance. And now we have a rotation from YOLO. They're coming mid. Dragonite is got to be a little bit careful here. It's nighttime vision. Rubik's coming through behind. They've thrown up a ward. They're coming around. They've thrown the counter where they know there's no vision here. So now they're going to come in. The Astral Imprisoment's out. Bounty Hunter's here. He's got a track. There's the Sending Eclipse. Bursts the DJ Bass down. And there goes the shield. So they pop that Dragonite as if he was nothing. And that's what happens. Bounty Hunter hit the level 06. Supports rotate in. And then they find a track kill up for that Bounty Hunter.
Illusion.
Yeah, a good transition there from YOLO Live once. Once that bounty hunter hit level 6, you pretty much immediately start to roam, which is exactly what you should do as a bounty hunter. A lot of times when we see a bounty hunter, they stick into lane 2 for a bit too long and they don't move around. The great thing about track is that it allows your team to stay, well, firstly, if you're not doing so well in terms of hero kills and whatnot, it allows your team to catch up a bit with the extra gold that it provides. It's really just like the best roaming ability when it comes to catching up to enemy teams.
And I really like the Clockblockers here. They're trying to share the XP around between the Bane and the Darkseer. So they're trying to get this triple stack down in this creep camp. And Visage just coming along to say hello to try and get some experience and creep kills here. We're almost losing the Bane and the Darkseer in the process. So they're still trying to get going right there. But nice little teamwork and communication coming out there, trying to share the XP around the side. But YOLO, this Alchemist, he's up to level 7. He's still working his way towards his Radiance. He's up to 3.7k, and he's just going to keep going up. I mean, I'm a little surprised he didn't get this Midas, as it would have been very efficient. It's a standard item on the Alchemist, but how do you feel? Should he have gone for the Midas, or is it very, in this case and in this situation, very logical to go for that Radiance? And actually, down at bottom, we have a track coming out onto Saiyan. Will they be able to find it? Lift is up. A few auto attacks. Abaddon, cooldown's been thrown. He's not going to be able to do enough damage, and he will fall with another track kill. So that's 2 track kills already at this stage of the game for YOLO.
Sort of what you were saying before regarding the Radiance, I'm not 100% sure on the Radiance. I mean, yes, he's going to have the, very quickly, he's actually going to skip the Radiance. Looks like he's going for a Battle Fury, which is something that I was going to say is not a terrible idea since he's skipping Midas. If he goes for that Battle Fury, it'll also help him accelerate his farm as well, as give him quite a lot of damage and AoE damage, which helps a little bit in those team fights. But yeah, it also does help his farm tremendously. It's a great item for a carry if they can get it early, and especially
And
since
actually
he's
got
had
initiation in
so
mid. The
much
Astral
distance.
Imprisoment's coming out. The track is ready and waiting. Track, can they get the lift? Lift is thrown up. Abaddon's here. They should find an easy kill on DJ Bass if they do start chasing him down the tower. They do have a shield. Sending Eclipse is also popped to find that kill. And now Dragonite, he's sitting 0 for 2 in the OD. He's now recovered back in the lane with support from those tracks and the rest of his team.
Yeah, that was extremely well played there by them. picking up another kill on this Drag Knight is a big deal, particularly when it is another drag kill. And Alchemist just then he just finished his Battle Fury. It's on the courier. It's on the way. And once he has that, his farm will skyrocket as well. He skipped the Midas. It's a 10.5 minute Battle Fury, I believe it was, when he first bought it. So it's going to be very quick. It's a very quick one for him, and we do have a little bit of a rotation here.
And this is really bad. We got DJ Bass. He's caught out of position. The track is thrown up. He's trying to take on 4 heroes. Alchemist Stun comes out. There's this acid spray on the ground doing a lot of damage and negative armor. We do see the Surge keeping that Dragon Knight alive. So they got out of there with almost next to no damage done to that Dragon Knight. He just passively regens it and bottles it up once. But he does have that track on him, so he's got to be a little careful. Rubik's got no mana, so he's got no lift or fade bolt currently available to him, and he's just out of range of that level 6, so he can't pick up any abilities. And speaking of just out of range of level 6, Zero on that Bane. He doesn't quite have his Fiend Script up and running yet. Once he has that Fiend Script up and running, he's going to be a scary hero if you are left alone anywhere on the map.
Yeah, I'm quite curious as to why DJ Bass or DJ Bass, whatever it might be, on this Dragon Knight didn't go for the level 6, the Dragon form. It's an interesting choice to instead level up your other abilities. I mean, Dragon form's so good, and it doesn't cost a lot of mana. It allows you to push towers. Your attacks are ranged. It deals damage over time. I don't know. It feels like I just think it's a strange choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Then you can kind of see where DJ Bass is coming from. I mean, he has to level up that Dragon Blood. He's been scared the entire game. You have that Bounty Hunter. He's missing off the map 24/7, and he's usually been sitting behind DJ Bass, waiting for him to sit out of position a little bit. Trek comes out, and then they chase him down. He's going for as much. I mean, we have Initiation coming up top. TP's coming in. They're trying to defend this tower. Cooldown's used. It misses every single hero, and there is a Bounty Hunter. He's Nightmared up behind the tier 1 tower. He's going to walk away, and Clockblockers just let him get away. There is a Revelation Ward down here, so they know he's here. They even had the Nightmare. I'm a little bit strange, or a little bit surprised that they didn't turn around and just try and find that Bounty Hunter while that Nightmare was on him and while he was sitting underneath that sentry. But at least they do get this, they get the deny on the tower, and now there's 4 heroes, sorry, 5 heroes up top, 3 rotating middle, but this tier 1 tower in middle should fall to the OD quite easily.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to. Oh, maybe the Drycryptor can deny it. Yeah, and he does. Wow, well played there by him.
Now we're going to TP support
some more rotation
and just chase them out. Nothing going there, but yeah, that's a very nice deny. 2 denies going on these towers, but that's 2 denies, but that's also a lot of map position you've just lost and given away to YOLO. And this gives you their Alchemist quite a lot more breathing room to farm around into their jungle. As the mid and the top tier 1 towers are those 2 tier 1 towers that do give that offer a little bit threat to your jungle, but now Alchemist, he's just got free reign over his side of the map, and even a little bit into the Radiant jungle, or Radiant top side.
Yeah, it does certainly give up a lot of that division and in-map presence. You also, particularly when you have a bounty hunter on the opponent's side, you want to maintain as much map control as you can, because if a bounty hunter is just going to be roaming around, scouting you out, and keeping an eye on where the position of your allies are, it's going to be tough to move around, and you're going to always be very, very afraid.
And we have DJ Bass. He's going on Den in the middle. Den just pops his mech and nothing ever happened. A very early mech is so useful for your team. It allows you to push, keep everyone alive, because that extra, I believe it's 250 health that gives away. Yeah, it is 250 health to all your allies. It's usually more than enough to save and negate spells being cast by Clockwork. I mean, you throw out a Dragon Breath, and then that can just be instantly negated with just a mechanism. It's such a useful item, and the earlier on you can get it, the more effective it is, and the harder you can push and work together as a team. So I really like OD being able to get so much farm start of the game. And what do you think Clockblockers can do from now? How do you think they should play out to try and reel the game back in a little bit? I mean, they're 3.5, almost 4k gold in advantage to YOLO, and same with the XP, and a lot of that's due to the track killers coming out by Ruski, who's now looking in the jungle to find any heroes out of position.
Yeah, and I don't know, like cock blockers, I still feel like they may have the advantage in these team fights for a little while longer. The problem is this OD is really starting to snowball out of control. As you said, that mecha certainly helps them in those team fights, but cock blockers they still have a lot of damage that can come out. You know, visage stuns, soul assumption, gyrocopter ulti. The thing is, they have to like really place all those perfectly. Whereas if you only live once, then have those massive ultimates. It's only really the Outworld Devourer that has something like that, and it does hurt clock blockers if they can't, you know, get that initiation spot on, if they
We
sort of
might be seeing
misplace
a little fight
ultis,
onto the
stuff like
Visage. Visage, they actually pick up one of the familiars and throw it down and stuns the Visage. Sanity Eclipse almost finds a kill, but he will get that Arcane Orb and pick off the Visage. Cooldown's been thrown. Nice Fiend Script onto Denden. Denden will be picked off to that Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter's now chasing them away, but the track speed on those heroes are more than enough to get them out of there. And not to mention, Rubik also sold Surge, so an OD for Visage. Clockblockers coming out ahead on that.
Yeah, they certainly did. That was a Insanity's Eclipse popped as well there, I believe. Yeah, it was. And for, you know, you pop that Insanity's Eclipse and you don't really pick off anyone besides the Visage, and then you get picked off yourself. That is a big deal. Yeah, the Fiend's Grip was very well timed there by Zero. Ensured that they got at the very least one kill. And of course the track allowed you only live once to just disengage there, which is certainly well played once again there by Ruski on that bounty hunter. But yeah, it's a good
Might be
engagement
fighting a kill
for
down on
Clock
Zero down at
Blockers
bottom. The
as
shield is up on Ruski. We see a Nightmare coming down to Zero, trying to keep himself alive, delaying the inevitable. They pick him up. Zero will fall. DJ Bass is coming around. Nice Astral Imprisonment coming out by Denden, trying to keep his fellow supports alive. Mech has been popped. Will they decide to turn around? QTC, he's out of position. He's getting hit by those Arcane Orbs. He's down to half health, but he will walk away. There's not yet a dive coming out by YOLO. And the track is now up and running on DJ Bass. But it's a 4v4 right around here. You have the Alchemist. He's up on top lane, still farming. He doesn't wish to be any a part of this game at the moment. Still working towards his next big items. He's got that Shadow Blade, Battle Fury. He's got 2 TPs if he needs to come on down here. But he doesn't need to. He's just going to continue to sit on top farming. And Clockblockers, they can't do anything about him. Because whenever they want to do something about them, YOLO, they rotate around the map and force fights elsewhere.
Yeah, but it looks like they might actually get this tier 1 tower, unless it gets denied. Doesn't look like you only have once when they really contest this, which it does get destroyed. So no one denies.
Back into the cooldown. Cooldown's doing a lot of damage. We see Murugan fall. No, he doesn't. He steals the shield. Shield not enough to keep him alive, however. So that is a kill. And now CB. Clockblockers, they have a mechanism of their own, and this should help them push towards that tier 2 tower. Alchemist, however, on the other hand, is pushing their top tier 2 tower, so they're going to be doing an effective trade, and Alchemist is alone, so he's going to get all the golden XP to himself, to his greedy self, and there is a TP from Gyrocopter. He's going to try and negate that, but Bacon, he's not going to give it up. He will get that tower and get on out of there. So that's a very nice trade for the Alchemist, and Clockblockers is not going to be able to fight anything. OD might find a courier into this jungle. 1 auto attack, 2 auto attack, not enough. The courier's going to skedaddle on out of there with 8 HP. A little bit unfortunate for Dead, but almost picked it off. And now actually they're coming on to Risky, but they don't have any follow-up to kill that Risky. He's just going to Shadow walk up and walk away. And now we see a Shadow Blade into the Alchemist stone coming very shortly. There we go. Fiend Script is out on Denden. Denden's taking a lot of damage, but Alchemist, he comes out. He saves Denden's life. DJ Bass is taking on there. Sanity Eclipse is popped. But still, Denden is falling, ripping through the team. DJ Bass is now gone as well. So that's 3 heroes down on the side of Clockblockers. YOLO taking a 3 hero advantage. Now going to be moving towards his tier 2 tower, and I don't think Clockblockers can defend it.
Yeah, this is what we were saying earlier on about just the map.
And there we go, we see the Astral Imprisonment into the lift, and then just easily enough burst to take him down. And once again, that's another track kill. I believe there was 3 track kills in that last fight, so that's just a lot of gold going in favor of YOLO.
But this is what we were saying about earlier, about having the map awareness, the good map positioning and whatnot. Since that tier 1 tower is down, we've seen that YOLO ones have been much more aggressive in the jungle of clock blockers. They've been moving around, finding pickoffs here and there. Originally it didn't go so well with them losing OD for only a Visage pickoff, but this engagement was much better for them. They managed to pick off 3 heroes, 4 now if you include the Gyrocopter at that tier 2, for cost of nothing, and they're going to get this bottom tier 1 as well. There's nothing that clock blockers can do to really defend this, and they're going to be fighting a really bad uphill battle, especially since this Alchemist is doing so well in terms of farm.
It's going to be very hard. They're going to have to hope for YOLO to just make one move, get a little bit too aggressive and too engaged into a fight. Maybe dive behind a tier 2 tower. Tier 3 if they're ballsy enough. And top lane's pushing at the same time as this, and they're going to try and defend this tier 2 tower. But at the moment, they can't defend it. Dark's is coming in there. He's looking to find something. He doesn't have wall power. Fiend Script is being used onto Risky. Risky will fall. Cooldown's only going to land on one hero. Mech is popped. Fiend skills to take another damage, but then his ultimate pops. He's just going to heal that back up. He's going to walk on out of there. BKB's popped by the Gyrocopter. So that's big, and no one's attacking him. So this could be a waste of BKB. He's going for the TP. Will he get on out of there? No, he won't. Dragonite's got enough damage to pick him off. So they find a Dragonite. They find a kill on that OD for that Dragonite, but their tier 1, or tier 3 took a little bit of chip damage, their tier 2 took quite a hefty amount, but OD did die. Was it worth it for YOLO in the end?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I don't know. I don't know if that engagement, like the bounty hunter sort of just jumped away too far past that tower, which sort of meant YOLO either had to go in or let the bounty hunter die. So one way or another, they're going to lose a hero. Yeah, they tried to help the bounty hunter, try to maybe reverse the situation that they were in. It didn't quite work out for them, and they had to back off. The tower was dealing quite a bit of damage just overall, and your bounty hunter, he sort of put you out of position. He got a little bit greedy with those the tracks.
And speaking of the bounty hunter, he's taking down Goten at the moment. He's chasing him down. Courier comes in, gives him that Ogre Club, and now the cooldown's being popped. Rubik's here to help him out here. He's going to lift him up, throw him down. Will it be enough to pick him off? Can he find a kill of his own? No, he can't. Ruski will pick up a kill. Visage is doing a lot of damage, but he pops the illusion runes and just distracts QTC long enough for him to get on out of there. So a nice little pick off by that bounty hunter. Walking around, and it's also a track kill. Now Den, he's put the Astral Imprisonment out on 0. He's coming in. Nice Nightmare to keep him back from a little bit longer. Rubik being a team player. Forced off in 1 auto attack, 2 auto attack. Can he find those fast 3 auto attacks? Nice. He pops the Sanity Clips and that final Arcane, or more than enough to find that kill onto the Bane. And now he's chasing down QTC. 4 stuffs on cooldown for another 8 seconds. There's no tier 2 tower here. Can they get in line? No, they decide to disengage. I think they could have chased him down to the bittersweet end, but they're not going to try to.
And once again, extremely well played there by Ruski, getting off that track just before the Bane fell. So that's even more gold for the entire team. And I mean, if we look at the net worth of just the supports here from YOLO Live Once, we see that it's a massive advantage compared to them, compared to the supports of clock blockers. We see that the Bane's only sitting at like 300, and all he's got is consumables on him. He doesn't have boots, doesn't have any sort of real items for himself. They're trying to go on risky here, but he's just got to end this and get out of there. They really need some more dust. I found that they're really lacking on the invis detection here so far.
And as you
I mean, sentries are nice, but the dust also has like that 10% movement slow if someone is in this, and when you also have an alchemist.
And we got TP coming in. He goes into the Shadow Blade. He's got his stun being channeled. Nice lift up in the air. Stuns a few. He turns around, picks off Kuro before he can use that finisher. Rubik, however, on the backline gets picked off by the Goten in that BKB form. Alchemist finds his double kill, turning around, beating the crap out of Goten. Goten will fall shortly after. There we go. 4 people are dead on the side of Clock Blockers. Arcane Orb, and the tower will actually pick up the kill. That's a team wipe, only for Rubik and YOLO. It seems like they're going to push this in, go for the tier 2, and there's the GG. Clock Blockers will call it. YOLO will take the first game in this best of 3.
Well played there by YOLO Once, taking game number 1. Clock Blockers, they tried to hold on for as long as possible, but once YOLO Once grabbed the early advantage, the bounty hunter just roaming around once he hit level 6, OD would start to snowball. There's just nothing that they could do, especially when the alchemists just left the free farm for so long. We'll be back very shortly with the next game. Hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. There's